Hello, family. This is Mr. Lovell. Welcome you back to the season 3 of One Mic. And so I'm really excited for this next focus in our season, talking about mental health. Well, I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you, to our new squad.
Oh, my name is Jocelyn.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Jocelyn.
Okay, so I started here at Youth Build in August of 2025. And I work a lot actually. I work at an animal hospital, so I'm never here anymore.
Yeah. So what is your role with this, our focus with media? Not media, but mental health.
Mental health. So I am in the mental health council. I do a lot, basically, like helping them with ideas and like what to talk about. I'm also part of the social media, so I'm gonna be editing and trying to post things for their Instagram and their social medias.
Hi, everybody. My name is Arnold. I am the youth ambassador for Advancing Communities Together, and my program is the Youth Mental Health Awareness Council. So my goal is to create a council to talk about mental health, spread more awareness, and create a community for youth where they can go and talk to people and learn more about mental health in ways that they can not only help themselves but help others cope with their mental health.
All right, awesome. So Arnold is, the newest, I don't like to say staff, I like to say family member of ACT. And I would just want to say, like, before everybody, like, you are a huge addition to this family and to the mission of the program. And some of the things that you do, and the passion that you lead with. And so talking about mental health, right? I know it's a personal passion for you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why?
So first I want to start off by saying thank you, because I do appreciate, you guys have all welcomed me like family, honestly. Like, between all the staff here, like, you guys, it doesn't feel like staff, like work, coworkers. It's a bit more personal. So I want to say thank you for that. And secondly, I dealt with my own mental health problems, growing up. At 11 years old, I went through my personal stuff, and it's what changed my life. It's what decided what I was going to do in the next step of my life. And it was, I've always wanted to work with kids and making sure that they get the help that they need and also get the help that they deserve and not feel alone. Just like how I felt growing up. Little background of what I did before this. I worked with special needs kids. I was in applied behavior analysis for about 6 years. I am a board certified assistant behavior analyst, and I'm currently doing my master's program to be a board certified behavior analyst.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I'm almost done.
That's awesome.
So I'm honestly excited to continue this journey. It's been fun.
That's cool. But you could tell he's a student because, like, I passed him in the morning. He's like, I was like, man, you almost done.
Half asleep.
Almost. And that's just when we come in the morning. So yeah, but yeah, you juggle a lot, man, and I appreciate you and appreciate your example. Now you, Jocelyn, although I tease you all the time.
All the time. Since the first day I got here.
That's right. That's immediate. Why did you decide to join this mental health council?
Oh, okay. I decided to join the mental health council because as someone who suffered with mental health, I felt like it'll be a good opportunity to learn more about like the mental health, the stigmas, everything. Because I never really knew about it until recently. Like, I started getting more into my mental health. I have like really bad like depressive episodes. And everything where like I just don't eat and everything, and I never knew why. My family always tells me, brush it off. Right. Part of the stigma, like, brush it off, you'll be fine.
Wow.
So I never really like went too deep into mental health until like Arnold had asked me to be like a part of it and stuff, and that's when I said yes, because I feel like I can learn a lot more and also help others who are struggling with the same thing.
Wow. Wow, that's really cool because it definitely your passion it shows up because I know you're like Arnold, juggling
Yeah.
job and everything, but you're always here, and I appreciate it.
Yep.
And one thing I would say as I guess I'm a Gen Xer, and so as a Gen Xer, I would say I'm really proud of you all for your leadership and stepping into this mental health awareness, right? And being really focused on removing the stigma so that people can truly be healed, right? And I know people, we could get, physical healing, like we get injury physically, but then a lot of injuries and stuff happen emotionally, and those are it's hard to heal if it stays covered, right? And so I remember growing up, and I think we talked about it, and Ruben too was like, we get hurt or something, we cry. Like, men don't cry. And so we start sucking it in. And what ends up happening, we're deploding on the inside, right? And you see people act out, hurt other people because we didn't know how to process anger, process hurt, and things like that. And mental health is not being weak, is really about being strong and how to be stronger. And so, as like I said, as one generation, I'm proud of you guys, the stands, because not only you two, but I hear it in the classroom. Everyone talking about mental health and making the calls to have set up appointments and put themselves in spaces with therapists, and not just therapists, but friend groups, and open themselves up to people that really want to support them so we can get the healing that we deserve so that we can be a whole community. Um, what what is the vision for this council? What are you hoping to do to? I know you got a big vision for reaching out and stuff. So what would you like the community to know what your plans are?
So kind of going back a bit to what you were saying before, the fact that, we as generations go more and more, where we get more and more open about mental health. But I grew up in that generation of, same thing. My uncles would tell me, hey, stop crying. Like, just man up, tough it out, and just deal with it. Get through it. And as a young person, that's all you know. That's what you're taught. So that's how you react. And part of that too is like you said, you hold it in and then you hurt somebody else. And it could be physically and it could be emotionally, verbally.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're hurting another person who probably doesn't deserve to be hurt. So our ultimate goal is to break away from that stigma, letting people know that doesn't matter who you are, age, race, gender, none of that matters. We should all strive to learn more about mental health and ways to better ourselves in that aspect. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes, and sometimes I do get down, but learning what I've learned and putting it into action and letting myself be aware that, it's okay. I'm allowed to have bad days.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to, have a day where I just don't feel myself, or I feel depressed, or I feel mad, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it's knowing what I do with that,
Right.
and going back to, like I was saying, I'm a board certified behavior analyst. So I see, assistant behavior analyst, but I see things through behaviors and replacement behaviors. And the way I see it is learning replacement behaviors for the behaviors that I no longer want to do, like no longer want, that can be considered quote unquote maladaptive behaviors or unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Right.
So learning new strategies that I can use and that I can teach other people as well. So the ultimate goal is teaching people that mental health, it's okay to learn more about mental health and practice these, healthy coping mechanisms to improve your mental health and help other people around you too.
Awesome.
And build a community too.
Yeah,
I think that's the other important part too.
Yes.
Sorry, I was about to forget about that, but
yeah.
I think it's important to have a community. Like I said, I grew up feeling alone and it sucked. So I don't want other people to feel that way. And so if I can build a community where people feel like they can trust other people around them, or even just talk about sensitive things that they don't feel comfortable talking to other people or, talking to family members about. That's something that I'm proud of, and Johnson, I think you can agree with me that there's been times where we have our council meetings and we do kind of get pretty serious, and it's not just about the learning, but it's also talking it out with other people about the things that we go through. And I've mentioned to you guys some of my personal stuff that I've dealt with, especially with my ADHD and other things that played a big factor in my mental health. Mm-hmm. So it's letting people know that you're not alone.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
You want to add anything, Jocelyn?
I would just say I honestly agree with you, because there are times where our council meetings turn into almost like a therapy session where we just let everything out. And it's actually really good, because if you hold it in, and I've noticed with myself, I hold a lot of things in just because I feel like I have to be the stronger person. I do hold it in, and it gets bad to the point where I have an attitude. I'm not in the right headspace anymore. What else? I've shared a lot of stories about why the way I am sometimes is because of obviously you guys know my grandma passed, so it's very hard, to deal with all these type of emotions and losses that I've gone through. And I feel like that's where a lot of my depression episodes come from, and I hold it in because I don't want people to know that I'm depressed. But I feel like it's something that should be talked about, because depression sadness can turn into anger very quickly.
Right. That's true. Let me ask you this, because I would say since August, throughout all the teasing and making fun of you, and you making her making fun of me,
yes,
actually,
of course.
it's more of a reaction of defending myself, actually, dealing with you.
But yeah, right?
What are some practical things you have learned to do to let it go? What are some thinking about a young lady out there or a young man who's dealing with things, what are some practical things you have done to help?
Like others?
Coping
coping. How you cope with
when
you're feeling down or sad, to help you snap back.
I would say coloring. Coloring. I love coloring. I like art. So I like coloring. I like getting tattoos. As a coping mechanism, because then I get to talk to my my tattoo artist and stuff, because she's been my friend since elementary school. And everything. So it's I feel like it's tattoo therapy in a way.
Okay.
I like to play with my dogs. Obviously, my dogs are a big part of my life.
Yes.
Yes. So it's playing with them and stuff. They understand. They understand a lot, actually. Dogs do understand. So I feel like I talk to my dogs and they just sit there and listen when I have no one to talk to.
Okay.
Yeah. They're kind of forced to listen to me, if I'm being honest.
I'm everybody pray for the dogs. They have a lot to deal with.
I yap to my dogs all the time.
Right.
Yes.
Say you come in and they're
not again.
Not again. She got too many issues.
Got you. But that's good. And then actually you brought one of your dogs to one of our picnics.
I did.
And she is beautiful.
Thank you.
So that's good. And so I think part of what you're all doing is helping people understand there are different little, and they may not seem like big things to do, but like coloring. But once you're able to kind of I don't want to say distract, but focus on something productive, even if it's something within your control that can help you, like you said, bring it down.
It's a healing thing for me. I've always colored. I love coloring. I have 500 coloring books. And most of them are already finished.
Nice.
And everything. But
nice.
Coloring, it's a big part, because it also makes your mind focus. And stuff. And not worry about the things that you're going through in a way.
Right.
And stuff. It's a little escape.
Can I also add onto that?
Yes.
It's also the way I say it is also a form of expression. Even if it's coloring, even the way you color, the colors you use, they all convey a message. A lot of times darker colors tend to mean a bit more of a, I wouldn't say negative or darker headspace, but it does tend to kind of show a little bit more of the how you might feel, darker colors,
Right.
But yeah, going back to our art piece event that we had, using things like that, using art as a form of expression, as a form of coping. That's how I learned. I mean, photography. That was my thing. Photography and cars.
Nice.
I love cars, and I was like, I'm gonna give photography a try. I've never done photography. It was never really a thing for me. I had taken a class in high school, and within the first 2 weeks, I dropped it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
photography, never thought I'd get into it, and from that, I had a lot of cool opportunities come out from that. And I did some work for Costco, photography
Nice.
wise.
Yeah. Remember telling me.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that I never thought that would come out from that, And I think it's a good opportunity for people to try things that maybe they didn't think would work, but they might just end up liking it, and something cool can come out of it,
Yeah.
Same thing with cars. I love cars. Y'all hear me talk about cars all the time. My car. Oh, my poor car. My poor car.
Let's pray for the car too. Poor car.
But like things like that, it's just little passions here and there. And even cars, the way I see it is, I have a way of expressing myself through my car. It brings a lot of joy to me. Yeah. And if it's something that I really, really enjoy doing or focusing on, it's a good way for me to kind of not distract myself, but put a lot of that focus, or take a break from how difficult life can be, to kind of just find some joy in things. Because I feel like we've talked about this before. We tend to focus a lot on the negative things in life when there's so much beauty out there. And I think if we just focus on some of the smaller things little by little that are beautiful, it changes our perspective in a lot of ways.
Wow, that's really good, because as Johnson was talking about coloring and the dogs, and then and you with your photography and cars, and I think it's that way because our emotions can be so intense, right? Yeah. And we're able to do something that we enjoy, that intensity start bringing down, and then you're able to make, okay, maybe this isn't so bad, or okay, I can forgive that person because the temper. I think about a thermometer, like a sad thermometer, or angry. It's like when you're, and again, it's not so much a distraction, but you're focusing on something that's bringing you life, even when you're faced with something that might be draining you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, the temperature go down, so we're able to kind of think and not make bad decisions, right? When we're able to focus on something else. So I applaud that.
All right, so Mr. Lovell, I got a question for you. How do you deal with mental health?
You didn't prep me for this.
You don't prep me for a lot of things.
Where's the waiver at? Nobody knows.
No.
All right, that's a good question. Honestly, part of how I see it, I think it's we did this test before. It's called Via Strengths, and I didn't realize humor was kind of like something I just naturally do, but it also helps me connect with people, and when I'm dealing with like challenges, right? And so I would say humor, prayer. Sometimes I take a walk and go outside and pray, and oh Lord, help me deal with Jocelyn, and come right back in. But no, I'm teasing. But yeah, I would say that it helps a lot.
It helps a lot.
And I have a support system dealing with that. I'm joking. But yeah, I would say humor, and just I think the big things for me that kind of includes humor is just having people around you that you can connect to. And so students too, connect with you guys and with staff. We're constantly laughing, and dealing with it. So I think our with the work that we do and helping people and transforming lives it's a lot, but it's cool when you're able to do it with people that have the same heart, but also have a sense of humor too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Trying to make sure I don't give Tammy or Marcella.
Yes.
That's true that you're walking up and sneaking up behind.
Yes. So man, because you are a true brother, man. We got a whole connection going. We don't have to say that. We already have that vibe. But yeah, I would say humor. Even sometimes when and people make fun of me, but I'm a huge Office fan. I don't know how many times I watch The Office, but sometimes I watch it because it helps me laugh. Right, and sometimes Key and Peele, stuff like that. And then because in part of my faith is in the word it says a merry heart does good like a medicine, and so sometimes it's the laughter and just enjoying life, like you said, and having fun. It helps make your heart light. So yeah, that's
Okay.
coming away. Couple ways. It's a good question. Who's your teacher?
That one I came up on my own. No, that just came up with my own brain.
Right. I was just trying to get some credit. So with that, like, what are, and hopefully it's not too personal, but what are some like maybe challenges you faced, and like I said, whatever you feel comfortable talking about, and then what were some like the lessons you learned from it, like.
You go first.
All right, you know,
I'm
looking at smart.
Honestly, well, you know, I'm young. I'm pretty young, but I feel like I've lived a lot of life. I faced a lot of challenges, not only as a professional, but personally as well, and through like faith and stuff like that too. I think some of my biggest challenges was the situation with my mom. I think that was like the biggest one for me. Without getting too into it, you know, my mom, she means the world to me, but knowing the fact that she isn't involved in my life as I'd want her to be does play a big role. It does play a big role in my mental health, but it's also learning that you can only do so much about it, and if people are interested in being in your life, they'll let you know. You know, they'll do what they can to be in your life, and you know, I'm in the mentality of forgive and forget. You know, try to forgive people for the things that have happened to me or that they've done to me, and you know, try to forgive myself for the things that I've done to other people as well. You know, I think that's a big one. And that's where a lot of the depression comes from, a lot of the self-hate, the self-loathing. It's a big thing trying to forgive yourself for the things that you've done. I mean, we're humans at the end of the day. We make mistakes. Things happen, and it's okay. I mean, some things are not great, but learning to forgive yourself and try to move on from it and try to be a better person and learn from those mistakes is, I think, an important aspect to all of that, you know? Let's see, lessons learned. Like I said, I think the biggest lesson is forgiving myself and forgiving other people. I think we hold on to so much anger, so much bitterness towards other people that might have hurt us, who might have done a lot of bad things to us. And yeah, it sucks. It's not great, but at the same time, you hold it in and you hold it in and you hold it in, and just accumulates. It just turns into one big volcano that just erupts one day. And for what? At the end of the day, they're living their life. They're moving on. They're doing their own thing. And what's being inside? What's inside of you? All this anger and this fear, anger, sadness. For what? You know, like I said, it sucks. It's not a great situation to be in. It's not a great situation to go through. But the thing that you can change is yourself, and the things that your mentality. So I think that's the important part and the biggest thing you have to focus on, you know, and changing your mentality.
Right. Wow, that's beautiful, man. It's like and as we go to Jocelyn, something you said and so many things you said hit me, and I'm like, okay, shut up, Lovell, because you're gonna keep talking. But it's like, especially when it comes to forgiving other people, right, and letting things go, and it's not easy, especially with the pains of someone who's close to you, right? And it's like I don't want to get the illustration messed up, but they were saying like holding unforgiveness and holding people hostage. It's like drinking poison and expecting them to die. And it's like you're hurting yourself. They could have moved on, and they may be, you know, hold on to regret themselves. But again, at the end of the day, you have to take care of your well-being, and part of it so you don't repeat the same cycle to somebody else. So, and before Jocelyn go, I just want to point out something. When you said you were young, she started chuckling and laughing. And so I just, not to start,
Lovell, you're
not
foul.
to start drama or
Right.
anything, but I
That's
just want to point
foul.
that out. I just
Somebody
want
won't
to
be
point
going to the Alta game this weekend.
I might not be able to go. I'm going to the beach, and I don't know what time I'm coming back
She
home.
picked the beach
The beach is more
over.
important.
Yeah.
That's our community.
It's my family reunion.
I guess I'll let it go.
She just trying to make us feel bad. It's my family, Marie.
It's my family. I have to go.
Right,
I mean, you don't have to.
right.
I mean, I don't like half the people anyways. I'm just kidding.
As we're talking about forgiveness, I'm joking. But yeah, for you, Jocelyn, what are maybe a challenge that you're
Ooh.
comfortable in? What lessons you learned?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Lovell. I've been through a lot, actually. Like, growing up, I wasn't raised by my mom and my dad. My dad was always on, like, drugs, and dealing with his own, like, mental health, because drugs are a big part of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that helps them in the moment, and they don't realize that it can cause addiction.
Yeah.
So both my parents were doing their own thing, whatever, wasn't there. My grandma, took me in. And then she ended up passing away when I was 6.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But that really hurt. And it still hurts to this day, even after 17 years, it still hurts. But I feel like the biggest lesson with everything that I've been through, whether that's not being raised by my actual, like, parents, or anything, is that I still have a big support system outside of my family. Like, here in Youthfield, I have a lot of people who care about me, who want to see me do good. And I feel like that's my lesson, is to try to better myself. Like Arnold had mentioned, forgiving and stuff. I forgave myself for a lot of bad things that I've done.
That's good.
Still working on forgiving others, but it's a work in progress. I feel like everything's a work in progress.
That's right.
Life is too short to hold any type of regrets. Tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
And that's how I think of, like, life. Is like, tomorrow isn't promised. Why are you going to be so harsh on yourself and also on other people who wasn't even there to begin with? So I'm learning to try to forgive and forget. Taking very long, but it's going to get there.
It's progress, right?
Progress, definitely. But yeah, like I said, though, it's like tomorrow's not promised. So I try to, I don't know, just here, honestly, and trying to be a better me.
And let me, and in our program, we do these push-ups where we're acknowledging people, but I definitely want to give you a push-up. Like I said, as much as I tease you and vice versa.
Yes, of course.
I've seen a lot of growth in you since August. I've seen not only you're coming out of your shell, but you're, as far as the way you react, the way you come at things, it's like a huge difference. And so I just want to just acknowledge that you are making progress. Yeah, we all work in progress, but you have made a lot of progress. And so, we're proud of you.
Yes, thank you. I feel like a lot of it was anger because of bottling up things. And I feel like after joining the mental health council, I've learned to control my anger more. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to probably start going to anger management, thanks to Arnold.
All right.
He gave me something with, I think, LA Care.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm going to try to find a day for next month to call off work so I can go to these meetings.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
To take that big step and getting help with my anger, because sometimes I don't know how to control it. You've seen it. You guys both seen it.
Yeah.
Where I can get very angry very quickly. I can go from 0 to 100 real quick. And I don't like that part of me. I really don't. Because not only am I hurting myself, but I'm also hurting other people's feelings. And I want to be better, especially with this council. It's like, you don't have to like everybody that joins. Sure. You don't. But being civil is a big part of it. Being civil and being cordial with them.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's good, because like when you go to a job or you're in places where everybody's not going to vibe. You're not going to be best friends with everybody, but that's an important lesson to learn because again, everybody deserves respect, even if they don't, even if they're not in the space of being a friend.
Mm-hmm.
People deserve respect. And one more thing you said earlier, I think a lot of times when it's time for a change and we're positioning ourselves for change, is when we're tired of a certain issue. It's like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
once you're tired of it, that's letting you know that yep, the healing is beginning. Healing is
Yes,
going. So that's really good.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
throwing the question back to you.
Oh.
What are some of the challenges you faced and lessons learned?
Okay. I would say challenge it. I would say rejection has been one of my biggest things. Since I would say going back to my father leaving us when I was in fifth grade. Without going into the big story, but I didn't realize that, I was building up a lot of resentment and anger. Now, and that's one thing about mental health and why we should talk about it is that sometimes the anger is not always explosive. Is sometimes it's implosive, meaning it could be that quiet person that one day just snaps, right? And that was me. I was the one that was building all this stuff up. And then when an opportunity comes or somebody says something wrong, then I remember one time I don't even remember fighting the kid. I just remember them pulling me off of him. But I believe a lot of that anger was towards my dad.
Yeah.
And because as an 11-year-old, you understand all that. But I would say the process, I didn't realize that until I was like 20, how it was building up, and I didn't realize it. But like I said, I was never treated him mean or never had it was explode on him when I saw him. But it was just like it's part of my faith. It was like I heard a lesson on forgiveness, and it just out of all the lessons I've ever heard on forgiveness, that one day that it got me. And I was like, I need to talk to my dad. I need to tell him how I felt, not in a disrespectful manner. And so I remember. One day he called me up and said, "Hey, let's go to Palmdale, which I'm at now. We're living in the valley." He said, let's go fix your car." And I'm like, "Okay." And in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, God, I'm about to be in the car with my dad for 45 minutes." I said, "I guess this is the time to have the conversation." Right. So long story short, I told him how it affected me when he left. And again, sometimes the people that has hurt us, they're hurting themselves. And some because they've been taught not to deal with mental health or even you probably even use the word mental health, but dealing with our emotions. And so anyway, he's crying because he's living a life of regret and guilt and not knowing how to deal with it. And so we made a decision and said, "Well, Dad, we can't go back, but we can move forward." Yeah. And so I kid you not, the pain of him leaving us it was healed. It took some time, but they still have the memory, but the bitterness isn't there. And so he left us a couple years ago now, but I thank God there's no regret. Yeah. We were able to enjoy adulthood with him, and I miss him to this day. But I would say that's the lessons I learned. Is like we're going to get hurt, even when it's unintentional hurt. There's people that want to hurt us, but sometimes people do things because they don't know how to deal with things themselves. Yeah. But then again, I guess the lesson there is to learn to forgive and then finding that support system of a community. Like I said, at the time it was the pastor, it was my mom, it was friends to help me support me in that.
I just kind of want to add a little bit onto what you were saying, and one thing that little thing that I've noticed, all of these things happen at a young age. Happened to you, 11 years old? Yeah. Same thing with me, 11 years old. You were pretty young too when that happened too. There's a little connection there. I mean, a little pattern if y'all don't ask me. But I mean, it kind of goes back to the purpose of all of this, and the group of people that we are trying to work for, do this for. It's our younger generations. We a lot of the times we don't even think about it at that age. We don't. It's not in our mind, so we don't really realize or think or care that it affects us. We're so focused on other things. I mean, growing up, like I said, I dealt with a lot of things with both my parents. My dad had several jobs, so he had a lot. Didn't see him that often. Didn't really engage with him as often as possible. My mom, we had an interesting relationship growing up, and without going into too much detail, but she didn't, she was a young person. She didn't really know what she was doing either. And so when things happened not too long ago with her leaving my brother and I behind, and kind of just wanting to do her own life. Yes, it sucked, and yes, I like you said, there's that pain, but it's also one of those things where I don't know what's going on with her life, with her personal life, and her mental health space, and at the end of the day, I think she's trying to figure out what she needs to do with her life, and doing her best as she can with the tools that she has.
Yes.
Without having much tools, because she came in to this country without knowing much. She only speaks Spanish, so it's one of those things where there's a lot of barriers for her.
Yeah.
And so I don't blame her. I don't feel any anger towards her. I don't hold anything against her. At the end of the day, if she ever wants to come back, my arms are open to her. The last thing I want is for the last conversation we had wasn't a good one. I don't want to live in that regret, like you said. And I've had that experience with my uncle, where when he passed away, our last conversation wasn't a good conversation. We were fighting,
right.
And it's unfortunate that we didn't get the chance to make amends before he passed. But at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it anymore. And part of it is, like you said, learning how to forgive yourself and learning how to forgive other people for the transgressions. It's life. We make mistakes. We're not perfect.
Right.
Going back to what I was saying before, I'm gonna do things that are gonna hurt other people in the future, and vice versa. People are gonna do things that hurt me, and it's okay. At the end of the day, it's all right. We can only control what we do, and look for forgiveness, not only with ourselves but the people that we hurt. And you and I, going a little bit into the religious aspect of things, seek forgiveness from the Lord, and it's not for everybody, but as we have our own experiences with that, and it's done our own healing. And that's why our mental health council, the youth council, it's open for people at that young age. We start at 11 and we go all the way to high school, and it's even open for people who are in the alternative high schools, 16 to 24, because we know that it can happen at a young age. And when you're at that age, a lot of the times you feel like you're alone. You're trying to figure out who you are in school, who you are with the people around you. And at times that can be very daunting for a lot of people. That can be very scary. And we want to offer that place for people where they can go and, talk to others and feel a bit more comfortable knowing that they have a community, to engage with. We call it a supportive alliance, but it's just a fancy way of saying a community, not of people who may feel the same way as you do.
Yes.
A safe space.
Exactly, where we can have these discussions and be a bit more personal, where sometimes we don't feel like we can get personal with other people or with our families and things like that. So that's why we have this program. That's why we're doing all of this. And, like I said earlier, teasing Jocelyn about the AV Alta game, we're trying to do things that bring us closer as a group, as friends, as people, just because I feel with the world we live in nowadays, we can be very separated from one another. But through these programs and through these activities, we want to build more of a community where we're together and enjoy each other's presence. That AV Alta game is gonna be fun. I love soccer, so it's a fun time for me.
Right.
But soccer may not be for everybody, but
I've never been to a soccer game.
Exactly, but it's a cool way to experience something different, something new, and do it with people that you care about or engage with and have that comfort with,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm looking forward to, because I like just eating.
Oh my
Anytime
God,
I get a
Lovell.
chance to eat.
Right?
Yeah,
Free Chick-fil-A?
yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
We can
Yeah.
tell.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Next episode.
And we're done.
So, let's say I'm a parent that's watching this, and I have a young person that is a leader, and or from a young person in the age group. How do I sign up? How do I get involved?
So we try to do as many events as possible. Try to go to many community resource events. They can always contact me too through my email. It's Arnold, so ARNOLD at ACT4, the number 4, avyouth.org. From there, I can send you guys a link to a form where you guys can sign up, and then from there I can send you more information from the events that we host to other events that we participate in and the council meetings that we do. We're having one today, actually.
Oh, nice.
After this, yeah.
All
So
right.
we're gonna be doing that today, and like I
All
said, we're
right,
gonna be
nice.
talking about the some of the bad coping mechanisms that are out there that we tend to
Ooh.
engage in often. Yeah, and that ranges from a lot of things, anger to sleep, whether it's lack or oversleeping, and it's
okay.
and it's something that we don't think about as often, but as someone who has dealt with depression and ADHD and anxiety and all these things, I did not sleep. It was my escape. I was on my phone, just doom scrolling, just seeing social media and things like that, because that was my escape. Or I'd play video games just because I didn't want to. It was in the back of my mind the entire time, and instead of actually doing something to help me out, I was just pushing it to the side, putting it inside a closet where we're like, it won't come out, and it's like, and then it grows big until it explodes, and it becomes something that it becomes harder to control and harder to manage over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if people are interested, you guys can come to one of our council meetings. We hold it the first and the third Thursday of each month, and then we hold bi-monthly events. We have an event as an organization in June, which is going to be our Piece 2 Carnival of Creativity. Something I get mixed up with that.
Yeah, no, you got it. You got it.
But yeah,
you
so it's also a mental health event that is hosted by our organization, and my council members are going to be doing a workshop.
Woohoo!
Right?
Yeah.
Y'all ready? Y'all got it done?
I don't know because they don't text me about anything.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Right. But we're also going to be hosting another event in June, and then my goal is to do other activities like the AV Alta game or other things where we can, like I said, be a part, like be a community and be out in the community and get engaged with other communities. But yeah,
Awesome.
that's
That's
pretty much
awesome,
our
man.
goal with
That's-
all of this.
That's awesome, man, because it's so needed. One of the things that drew me to work with Advancing Communities Together as part of their mission is to break cycles of poverty, which would be not only financially, but mindsets and depression, mental health, but creating transformational experiences where people can break those things and, walk into a life of enjoyment and purpose. Any final thoughts, Miss Gomez? Closing thing you want to tell the audience?
I just want to thank everybody for watching. And also thank Mr. Lovell and Arnold for having, a good, being a support system for not just the staff, but also for us students and everything. I want to give a big push up to Mr. Lovell because he pushes me to do everything and makes me decorate everything.
When you have when you don't know how to do something and somebody else does, collaboration. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Delegate. Yep,
Yes,
yep.
but thank you guys.
No, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Arnold, did you have any final
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for my council members. Honestly, you guys support me a lot, and between events, council meetings, you guys always show up. Honestly, I don't think we'd be here if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you to Mr. Lovell too. Like I said, from day one, he welcomed me with open arms like a brother, and honestly, I couldn't be grateful. I've been in certain situations where different jobs where it doesn't feel that way, and you're very isolated, and it's not great, you know. So, well, coming here, not only Mr. Lovell, but Tammy, Marcelo, and them, who you guys will probably meet in the future. But y'all have been nothing but welcoming. And then I want to thank you guys for watching. I know there's times where you guys can do something different or do something else, but you guys are choosing to watch us and learn more about mental health or learn more about what we do here and who we do it for. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah. All right. I was like, amen. That's awesome. And yeah, and thank you again to you guys. And I would say for your leadership in making these things happen, creating opportunities for other people, staying in positioning for yourselves to be healed, but also creating that environment and community for other people. All right. And then to you again, thank you for watching, and there's so much more to come. So stay tuned, like, share, subscribe. That's weird. I've never been. I was like, I'm that guy saying that. That's so weird. I'm like, yeah, drop. All right, love you guys. Y'all be safe.
Thank you guys.
All right.